You say you trust them, yet you don't know the status of your finances. How can you trust something or someone if you have no idea what the status is? Oh, family, I pray this is not one of those nightmare calls where the husband does not reveal to the wife the state of affairs. And it's been like this their whole life. Family, this is how people retire with nothing. If these calls, the couple hundred calls that I have listened to in the last half year or so, since this channel has been up and running, a little bit more than half a year, it's taught me that if you are in a partnership with someone and only one person has any ideas to what's going on with the money, you have a problem. It doesn't mean both people have to pay the bills. I would be totally fine taking care of all the bills in my relationship, or if my husband wanted to take care of all the bills, that's fine. Really doesn't matter to me. But what does matter is each party should know the status of the finances, the status of the accounts. And if nothing else, what happens when one of them dies? It's not if, but when. Okay? And you don't even know what accounts you have. I had no idea there was a life insurance policy there. I had no idea that we owed property taxes here. I mean, imagine the absolute disaster financially that could happen on top of, losing someone either, through death or, mental inability, physical inability, whatever. There's just a duty, in my opinion, to make sure that each of you can take care of the other financially. So she says he's really great with money, but yet she doesn't know. Then no, he's not really great with money because you have nothing to back it up.
Merry-go-round of just my head stuck in the sand.
Why is it that he won't share with his wife the money that you have?
I just never, in the beginning, because I was the one in debt coming into the marriage.
How long have you been married?
It shouldn't matter who's in debt to whom. Just because you're in debt doesn't, if I marry someone and they've got debt, that doesn't give me the right to control all the money. Well, you were the one in debt, so, and there's a big concern. Of course, Dave was just saying how long you've been married, but there is a big concern in the sense of, this could go on for decades. You could literally be at retirement's doorstep to find out you don't have squat.
20 years.
I've been married 43. If the stuff I did stupid in the first 7 years of marriage was still counted against me, I probably wouldn't be alive.
I know.
So I don't.
If she's married to a guy that's going to hold this over her, that's holding this over her head, who knows what else he's held over her head? And if she's married to a guy that won't reveal the finances, there's your problem.
What you did 20 years ago doesn't count. Why is it that 20 years into your marriage, you don't know what's going on with the money? Why does he not think you're worthy of that?
Probably because I haven't pushed it. Every time I
Right. Oh, well, let's let her finish.
Push it, he just doesn't want to get into it.
Okay, there's a problem. One, why hasn't she pushed it? Is she afraid he's going to leave her? Okay. Again, I've been divorced. All right. Sometimes I think the reason people don't push things is they're just afraid of that divorce. Yet secretly, you already have the answer. You already know the answer. Okay. She really knows why she won't push it. We don't know that. Okay. Maybe he's got a hot temper. Maybe she's afraid, he's going to up and leave. A worst case, to me, maybe he's the one now running up the debt. That's why, as Viewer Parlor says, you got to pull those credit reports, family. You should not have 20-year financial secrets like that. Not saying micromanage your partner. But if you're going to be a really financially strong couple and you're rowing in the same boat and you're working in the same direction and you see eye to eye on how money should be spent and the values, yada, yada, that you have about money. Okay? Imagine being with someone for 20 years and you don't know anything about where your money is. Oh, my goodness.
And I just kind of back off, and then I don't fight it, and I'm to the point where I have to know this stuff. If something happened to him, I would have to know how to pay the mortgage.
Did I not just say that? Yay me. Yay me. You mean to tell me this woman has been with this guy for 20 years and she didn't know how to pay the freaking mortgage? Not that she physically can't pay the mortgage. You mean to tell me you possibly don't know who the mortgage company is? Unbelievable.
Okay. So how can we help you?
How do I get out of this? I don't know if it's a mindset.
Pull the credit reports. Bingo. Go to the bank where the banking is at. Ask to, you're the wife, access to all the accounts. This is making me think that he's hiding something. Yeah. What was it, that video we did not too long ago, family? It was the one where the husband controlled all the money because the wife suspected he was afraid that she would leave. She makes 6 figures, doesn't know where any of the money is. All right. He controls it. Won't tell her squat about where the money is, what the balance is. It's kind of reminded me of that. And what would happen if the tables had turned, like I said, and it actually turns out the husband's the one in debt? She says the title of this video is "I'm a smart person making dumb decisions." Well, the problem is you really can't make any decisions because you have no insight as to where the money is.
Stuck in, or if it's just I'm scared. I just kind of want to get out of the hold of just not knowing.
Pull those credit reports. You don't need his permission to pull your credit report. And go to your local bank. If she really is this naive after 20 years, she is responsible. They're both responsible, clearly, but she's responsible for that as well. Okay? That can't be put completely on her husband. And if she's actually afraid of him, she's afraid of the repercussions of, what. Damn, I couldn't imagine being afraid of my spouse to ask them about money. You're married to the wrong person. You've heard me say it before, family. You're married to the wrong person if you are genuinely afraid to say, so, what's our bank account look like? You're married to the wrong person.
Well, I guess, I don't want to be a smart aleck or anything, but the way you get out of the hole of not knowing is you start knowing, which means Bozo's going to have to open up his mouth and tell you what the flip's going on, and you're going to have to demand it as a part of him continuing to live.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, dude, I'm going to duct tape you to the bed and beat you with a baseball bat. You're going to tell me what the flip's going on here, okay?
And if she really is afraid to ask him, of course, you're not going to ask him like that, but if she really is afraid to ask him, then the money isn't the big issue. Their marriage is.
I'm kidding. Don't do that. But you really are. You sound sweet, and you sound so apologetic, like you've done something wrong for asking about your life. And
well, what she has done wrong is she's not demanded this all along. That's where she's gone wrong. Okay. I guess, the closer I get to retirement and stuff, the more I have come to realize, and obviously in listening to, numerous calls from this show, I've come to realize how important it is to be involved in your finances, and if you're in a relationship, the finances of your spouse. Why? Not to be nosy, but to make sure that you're not off track, to make sure that you will be comfortable in a retirement, to make sure that you're living within your means. People oftentimes, for whatever reason, I think in relationships that are not healthy, people instead look at financial discussion as this negative thing. Okay, when in reality, financial discussion should be a breath of fresh air. Thank goodness we're on the same page. Thank goodness we know what our debts are. Thank goodness we have a plan to get out of it. It's not too late. We can fix it. Instead of looking at, being financially on the same page, an open book, people instead look at it negatively. But that's because it's the wrong relationship. I'm convinced of that. It's because you're in the wrong relationship. The right relationship doesn't look at it like that. Instead, you should be walking away from the table going, all right, we've come to recognize we are living beyond our means. We have a plan now on how we're going to tackle this. There's nothing wrong with that. Instead, it's looked at as, oh my God. Oh my God, I want to ask my spouse about our debt. Oh my God, I'm just sure they're going to walk out. I'm sure they're going to throw a fit. They're going to be mad. I'm just sure that's the end of everything. Then you've got the wrong person. You really should divorce because you are with the wrong person. You don't see money the same way. You can't have a mature adult conversation about money. And it's not to attack somebody. It's not to say you spent too much, yada, yada. Okay. But it's to acknowledge and it's to honor the relationship, to say, oh my goodness, maybe I am spending too much money. I'm putting us in financial harm. I need to fix that. Let's discuss. Let's lay it out. Don't we feel so much better? It's out in the open. But people don't treat it like that. But that's because you're in the wrong relationship.
And you don't owe anybody an apology for that. You don't need to be a jerk about it, but you do need to lean in hard enough that he decides he's going to share with you and say, listen, I am terrified because I do not know what's going on. It's not okay that I don't know what's going on. And starting right now, I'm going to know what's going on or we're going to have other problems in this house.
And if it really is true that he won't show it, then she already has her answer about whether or not they have other problems. If I'm married to somebody, my husband comes to me and says, we need to sit and, excuse me, just do a financial checkup. Here you go. I have nothing to hide from you. Oh, hell, if they wanted to know, all they got to do is watch my YouTube channel. I'm pretty much an open book.
Okay.
Can you find that much roar in your voice?
Yes. It's just,
if that was the roar, I'm worried. That's just a loving tease. This is to Elizabeth and Charlotte in North Carolina.
you can't live. It's like a 5-year-old that throws a fit. He goes into that mode.
Yeah, you sound like someone who's been, who's the subject of domestic abuse, the way you're verbalizing it. Like it's all your fault that he's misbehaving.
What she should say is, to some extent, yes, it is her fault. It's both of their faults. Okay. She's not totally innocent in this. All right. And guys, let's be honest. She should have said something decades ago. Okay. But the other thing is this, I think what happens, speaking for someone who's been divorced, when you're in the wrong relationship also, you're in the wrong relationship what is it? I've said before and I've read it. You're with the divorce occurs long before you go to court. Well, you're in the wrong relationship long before, issues like this come up. This is potentially a symptom of the type of relationship she's had. But change can be scary, so people just stay in the box that they're in instead. When in reality, it should have been changed. If she really is this, if approaching her husband is really this terrifying, this hasn't been a good marriage. So her saying, oh, but he's wonderful with the finances. Really? Because I'm getting kind of a different picture here. You don't know if he's wonderful with the finances. He hasn't told you. He hasn't shown you anything to prove it. And even if he's wonderful with the finances, how is he in the relationship?
I think it's the way I grew up with money. I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and there's a huge age difference between me and my siblings. And
yeah, how old are you?
I am 47.
Okay, it's time to grow up then.
Yeah, you can't sit there and go, well, there's a big age difference between my siblings and me. Okay. She's not, 25.
Yeah.
I don't give a crap what happened when you were a kid.
Yeah.
As of right now, you're like a 47-year-old grown woman.
And he needs to grow up too.
And walk in there and say, Bubba, this ain't going this way anymore. We're not.
One of the reasons I think we get calls with people in their 40s starting that have not really been involved in the finances, and then they decide, hey, now's the time to get involved. I think a lot of it is because as you start to round the corner of 50, you kind of start looking back at your life going, what have I done to start preparing? Because let's face it, folks, as people start rounding the corner of 50, you really have to have some sort of plan in place. You really do. Because you've got your 50s and, knock on wood, most of your 60s to implement that plan. Because so much of our 20s and 30s are wasted doing stupid stuff. I know not everybody is, but I certainly fall in the category of doing stupid stuff. And I finally got my, crap together by my late 30s. By my late 30s, 38, I had it together. But you really do. I'm 57. I think to myself, my God, I couldn't imagine if just 10 years ago I finally started really considering about retirement. I started considering that at 38. Okay. So that's why I think a lot of these calls come in when they're in their late 40s, early 50s. And oftentimes it seems as though it's the woman calling in. Okay, that's just what I've observed. It's the woman calling in. She's not been involved with the finances. And now she wants to know, after 20, 30 years, where the finances are. The question should have been asked decades ago. But the reason I believe it's being asked now is just what I said. It's because they start seeing, oh my God, the big 5-0 is around the corner. Right? And time is not as forgiving to make up for lost time once you start hitting that 50, 55-year-old stage. I mean, don't get me wrong. Something is better than nothing. 10 years, I've got 12 years to save, a multi-6-figure account. Yeah, I'd like to have had $1 million in it. That wasn't happening. Okay. But still, I've got time. I've got 12 years to put in tens of thousands so I can have a few 100,000 saved up, in addition to 30-year pension, in addition to Social Security. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for that time, but I do also have a teacher's pension. Okay. I think if it was just the 12 years that I have, I would be concerned, but knowing I've got other things to back it up, I think I should be okay.
Not doing this. Not happening.
Okay.
You've told us that you trust him, but the truth is I don't think he trusts you. If he's not willing to share any of this and be transparent with you, there's a bigger problem on his side.
Yeah, and he enjoys no one questioning his decisions.
Is he controlling in other areas too?
Just like stupid stuff like restaurants we go to, we don't like the same food. So,
I don't think that's stupid. Eating is something we do a lot of.
I like my own plate at a restaurant. I really don't like to share my food. I am not the person that goes, hey, let's go to Culver's and split a hamburger. No, I want my own burger. I want my own soda. All right. I'll share a few French fries. I'll give a few, but don't ask me to take my hamburger and split it. Sorry. I want my own plate. That's just the way I am. I want that.
3 times a day if you're normal.
Yeah.
So I think you don't get a vote in
compromise.
this marriage in every other area, and that's not okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I live where I always dreamed of, and,
There's a difference between having a vote and being a kept woman.
yeah.
You're kind of tired of being a kept woman is why you called.
Yeah. Well, I wish I was a kept woman. I make my own money and, contribute to the household. So, I mean, it'd be nice if...
You're kind of missing the point, darling.
I know.
Okay,
I know.
so are you gonna sit down with him and deal with your marriage issue or not?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm proud of you. And if he absolutely refuses to share with you what's going on in the finances when you point blank demand that as a equal share in this marriage, then you guys need to go see a marriage counseling, to which Bozo's not going to go, and you get to go by yourself and learn how to speak Bozo.
And right then and there, just like I said, you have a bigger problem than money.